Hello and welcome. We're going to talk about driving directions of listings that you have selected for a customer. So on my screen right now we have listings that I've already found in a search. So here they are on my screen. They are highlighted with the select box, also highlighted in green. But you don't have to be on a spreadsheet to start these driving directions. You can be on any kind of different reports, maybe a client detail. As long as you have a checkbox selection here that tells the system that I want to select this one, it's going to the next level. And most reports will have that checkbox. Sometimes you have to look close for it, but it will have this select box. So I'm just going to go back to my spreadsheet, and we're going to take these into driving directions. Several ways to get to driving directions. Actions right here in the toolbar for reports, and then driving directions. We click on driving directions. So it then sets up a driving directions options with our 4 listings. Step 1, select an origin to display the type. And we have a tour directions or a single source origin. If you hold your cursor over the little info tip right here, it'll give you an idea what it's going to do. So tour directions means that it's going to take us from our starting point that we'll determine here in a minute and give us directions to the first listing. Then directions from the first to the second listing, then the second to the third, third to the fourth, and however many more listings you have. The single source means that it's going to take our starting point and give us directions to the first listing in a single set of directions. And so then it'll give us another set of directions from our starting point to the second listing. Then again, starting point to the third, and starting point to the fourth, all set in different directions, subset. Step 2 is display the route as text only, or an overview map with text, or turn-by-turn maps with text. That's the most detailed, of course. Right in between by default is the overview map, which is this is an overview map right here we're looking at on the right, and then underneath it will give us the turn-by-turns with text. From a contact, maybe from my home address. By default, it will be your office address. You can choose other and actually then type in an address that you want to start from. Then over here on the right, underneath the map, we have our 4 listings in this case, and they're lettered here with B, C, D, and E. If we look up here in the map, there's A as our starting point, and then it comes over here and it gives us E, D, B, and C, because that's the order that they are in this particular real little mini spreadsheet. E is red because it's the actual last listing in our spreadsheet here. So if we want it to go in the right order, basically the most logical order of our starting point through our first listing, first to second, second to third, etc. So let's make a change here. Since E looks like it's really the first one, it should be on the list here. We're going to drag and drop and move E on up. And it looks like C should have been the last one on the list here. So we're going to drag and drop and move it down. Let's update the map now. So it's going to take our new order that we put them in. And so now we have A to B to D to C. And we can see that C and D are really close to each other. And I probably should have moved D up above the C. These properties obviously are right next to each other. You can tell just by the address. But even so, we're going to update the map again. And so now we have A to B, B to C, C to D, which those are right next to each other, and down over here to E, which is the last one on the list. That's why it is red. So now we feel like we have our best order for our tour directions. We're going to come up to the top right, say calculate directions. So here's the overview of the map, and then we get our turn by text. We can email it, we can print it, and change it to text only, overview, or turn by turn. Let's try turn by turn, which will be a little more extensive because we're actually doing maps for each turn. So here's our direction, here's our map as we move right on down the screen. So this will be a little more in depth with our turn by turns and directions and text. Let's go back just to the overview. And that's how you create those driving directions. Let's close this out. Let's show a couple other ways that you can do driving directions. With these 4 listings, I can come over here to Reports, and I can come to Bing Map. And then we have driving directions here, or we can even hold our cursor, and we have driving directions here. We click on the driving directions, so it loads up the same driving directions options box that we worked on just a while ago, and we can put them in the correct order as we see fit. So those are creating driving directions. Thanks for watching.